Ben 10 is a franchise I hold very near and very dear to my heart. If you've ever taken a goose or a gander at my Twitter page, you know I talk about it more than I talk about my current means of income, with my favorite aspect of the entire series being the aliens. Their amazing designs, their cool powers, and as a kid, I would imagine what my life would be like if I too had the Omnitrix. Would I go on nebulous adventures, battle ferocious aliens and mutants to protect my home, save the world on a regular basis? But now as a somewhat jaded 20-something, I can say with full confidence what I would actually use the Omnitrix for: to make my life easier. It's a no-brainer that several of these aliens would make anyone's life a million times easier, between the super speed, super strength, and super intelligence within Ben's multiple 10s, but there's also some aliens that would straight up make life more miserable if used by your regular Joe Schmo, and that's what today's video is about. I'm going to be ranking all of Ben 10's aliens on how useful they are for regular everyday life. I'm not going to be saving the world or stopping superpowered criminals, I just need something to help me not file taxes and edit videos easier. That said, it wouldn't be a Ben 10 ranking video without some annoying ground rules, but it's just 2, so you will not have any trouble keeping track, I promise, don't worry. Number 1, I'm only looking at aliens in the original continuity. No parodies and no reboot. I have nothing against the reboot, I just haven't had the time to sit down and watch it, so it wouldn't be fair to rank them. Also, I hate how all the aliens look in that show. Number 2, when I say regular everyday life, I mean like home life, a retail job, and anything in between those two simple things. I'm sure some of these aliens would be helpful in really specific jobs like firefighting or wrestling, but you statistically are not a firefighter or a wrestler, and if you are, why are you watching this? Go, there's a fire down at the corner of Main Street caused by a luchador, go stop it. To keep things a bit more interesting, I'm going to save the top 3 and bottom 3 for the end of the video, and along with a specific announcement about why I'm doing this on Halloween. So, starting from the 4th worst alien in F tier, here are the aliens that would actively make your life, or the lives of anyone in your vicinity, marginally worse. Energy is just terrible. He's a big metal trash can that melts stuff. That alone is already kind of troublesome for the neighborhood, but what's inside this trash can? Oh, it's a glowing radiation boy that's gonna give your neighbor cancer. Way Big is one of my absolute favorite aliens of the whole series. He's just really big and really cool, but what the hell are you gonna use him for outside of fighting giant monsters? You're just gonna be recreating kaiju fights without any care at all. Vampire is a vampire. I think that kind of starts and ends there. His only powers are flight and controlling people, and this list is also going to assume you're not a jackass who's going to use these aliens maliciously, so the only power you're going to really use is flying, so why would you use the one that burns in the sun? Topic's only power is scaring people into comas. That's it. If you're an asshole who likes scaring people into comas, here you go. For the rest of us, he's just nothing. I'm going to be counting the Ultimate aliens as their own unique aliens on the list, and hands down the worst one for now is Ultimate Humongosaur. He's just a giant dinosaur with a spiked tail and gun hands. Now, gun hands are cool as hell, but I can't be touting those around when I'm trying to wash the dishes. Bullets and debris are going to go everywhere, and my cat's going to be scared of me. I can't have that. Moving out of F tier and into the D tier are the aliens that, let's be honest, are not good for everyday stuff, but they aren't as detrimental to your life as the ones in F. Or they're just boring. Waka trout. Fish with legs. Why would I need this? Now, Gutrock could have potential as a teacher. He makes chemicals and can combine them, and I don't know. You probably find small odd jobs of making laughing gas or sleeping gas, or maybe he can make helium. I don't know. He doesn't actually harm anyone, and he isn't super boring like Waka Trout. Goop. What is there to say about Goop? He's a green, ooey gooey guy who can fit into small places if his little UFO can follow him. I know in the show constantly they ignore the UFO and just have him slide between stuff, but that's because the writers are shit, and I'm better than them. What are you going to use Goop for? Tell me in the comments, please. Ball Weevil is just a little guy. He can crawl around in small spaces and climb on walls, so like, I could see some use cases for this in a crowded bus, or if you lose your frisbee up on the roof. There's something. Now, you may argue that Heat Blast deserves to be down in F tier with energy, given their similar issues, what with him being on fire. But throughout the series, we see that Heat Blast doesn't actually just casually set things on fire around him. He has a bit more control over it. That being said, he is still a 6-foot walking pile of ash that somehow scorches leather seats when he sits in them, but is also able to keep Kevin warm without hurting him. It's weird. And I'm confident that no one needs the ability to just light stuff on fire. You're only going to use him if your stove is broken and you need to either cook something up or stop something from being cooked. Crash Hopper. His only power is that he can jump, and he does it really good. I guess if you're into basketball, this could be good, but I imagine you'll get like a red card or a strike or whatever it is you get in basketball for breaking the rules. I don't watch it. But that being said, since I don't watch it, how do I know none of them have done this before? Maybe at some point in his career, Shaquille O'Neal turned into a giant bug-like entity, and that's how he's so good at the game. Now, Kickin' Hawk's only ability is punching and kicking real good, so like, maybe self-defense, but if we're going to use self-defense as an excuse, many other aliens could fit the slot much better and actually have other uses, so he doesn't really have a lot going for him. Clockwork is down here because time travel is bullshit. It's only used by immortals or fools, and everyone is a fool. I don't think anyone could properly use Clockwork without fucking something up. So I'm extremely confident in putting him down here. Ultimate Swampfire sucks. I mean, okay, I like his design and he's cool, but practicality-wise, what are you gonna get out of him? He can still seemingly control plant life like regular Swampfire, but he's covered in these sticky blue balls that explode, because Ultimate Alien decided that every evolution had to go the way of Digimon and attach deadly armaments to already dangerous aliens. And ironically enough, the worst is actually the best of D tier. His only power is infinite durability. He's just invincible, despite the fact that you can still see him. The only downside, he still feels all the pain, so that sucks. Moving into C tier, we have aliens that are going to have some fringe usefulness, but almost all of them can be beaten by someone a tier higher, so what's the point in using these guys? Starting with Rath, he's like one of my other favorite aliens. He's big, he's strong, you can use him to move furniture and shit like that, but he also has a major temper problem that is exclusive to him and his species. Like, he completely changes how Ben acts to be this furious, testosterone-fueled beast. And that seems to apply to anyone who turns into Rath, so I don't think he'd be very good at anything. You're gonna stub your toe while helping your friend move his couch, and he's gonna be blasted through his living room wall out of your sheer anger. Wildnut. He's just a dog, but he's blind, and you can only see through scent and hearing. And I'ma be real, Chief, there's very few situations where I'd want to be blind in exchange for better hearing and scent. Now, technically, this is the only ultimate that's going to go higher than their base form, because Ultimate Wildnut is the exact same, except he's a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, and he can talk. So now we've removed the language barrier between man and dog, and that can maybe be something. Chromastone is another alien that is great in the high-action sci-fi world of Ben 10, but he doesn't really have much going for him in regular life. You could point to something like Electrician, maybe, but he seems to mostly work with energy beams, and I don't think they're going to be okay with me shooting up lasers in the power plant. Now, he can fly, so that should automatically get him up into A tier with every other flying alien, but Ben only learned how to do that after meeting Crystal Space Jesus, so I don't think it's fair to say that anyone who's Chromastone can do it. Blitzwolfer is a werewolf. He's just cool. He's big, he's strong like Rath, but you don't have to worry about the anger thing. But you probably shouldn't use his Sonic Howl unless you want the HOA on your ass. Bullfrag is cool because he's just better Kickin' Hawk. He can fight, but he also has a grappling hook tongue, so you can use him to be like a gross Spider-Man, just swing around with your tongue and beat people up. That's not really an everyday use, but you could. Arctic Guana's usefulness only really applies to southern climates or the summer. Cold drinks, cold pool, cold anything really. Cold powers are just cool, and they also don't light stuff on fire, so that's a big bonus. Chameleon is one of the worst aliens in the entire franchise, let's be real, but having a consistent way to crawl on walls and turn invisible would be pretty handy. Avoid traffic, avoid responsibilities, avoid the IRS, nothing can stop you. Except for thermal vision and your own pride for using Chameleon, but like, yeah, don't use him, he sucks. Frankenstrike is big, strong, and can shoot electricity. That's the only important bit. Free energy. Just get some big ass batteries or capacitors or something and you can go off the grid. He's only so low because there are several other electric based aliens that can produce electricity better or have something going for them other than the electricity. Snarrow, or the objectively better name Ben Mummy, has the grappling hook powers like Bullfrag but can also split apart into a bunch of long mummy wraps that he can control. This is kind of the weakest version of the whole multitasking that we're going to see later, but it's still cool. He looks cool. I like the Halloween trio. I don't have to justify every ranking I have for you. Guy has full 360-degree vision and can shoot out all sorts of lasers like ice and electricity. There, you've just combined Arctic Guana and Frankenstrike, and you can also see if anyone's sneaking up on behind you. What's not to like? Lodestar is a giant magnet. I mean, like, you can fry hard drives and you can go treasure hunting on the beach. Look, I can't fully describe why I think he should go here, and I can't even come up with a bunch of uses for magnet powers outside of going evil and being Magneto, but like, he's cool. C tier still fits, right? Before we get into B tier, we have a miniature tier I'm calling the Construction Crew. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that most of you don't work in construction, but there's 6 aliens here that are just perfect for the job site. Otherwise, they'd probably all be lower. Both regular and ultimate cannon bolts are good bulldozers. Ultimate is just a little lower because I don't think they'd want giant protruding spikes on their bulldozers. Ultimate Spider Monkey is a gorilla on stilts with a mouth that can produce super glue. You tell me he wouldn't be good dealing with girders. I wouldn't believe you. Humongosaur is just a big, strong dinosaur that can grow even bigger and stronger without being so big he wouldn't fit in the construction site, and he doesn't have gun hands, so everyone wins. Blocks makes blocks. I know they're just giant Lego, but they seem to be sturdy sometimes, and even stick around when Ben has transformed back into a human sometime. And finally, Armadillo. Look at him. Look at this perfect specimen made perfectly for the job site. He was built for construction. Or destruction, given how Ben uses him most of the time. Next up are the B tiers. These guys are just really good and they don't have too much for downsides, but tiers higher just do their job better. Eatle is waste disposal. Just eat garbage and aim straight up with your laser and hope there are no airplanes above you. Diamond Head has one good trick for non-combat, and that's selling all of the gems you can make. He's only in B tier because I don't think many pawn shops are going to accept the gems because they're alien. But you can give them to your friends, give them to your enemies, sell them to anyone you want, make money until they find out the truth, then run from the police because no matter how you slice it, this is going to be an illegal operation. Swamp Fire can control plants. He has flame abilities as per the second syllable in his name, but it's mostly the plant part that's really good. Help the environment, spruce up your garden, get an actual spruce. What's not to love? Feedback, Shock Squatch, and Buzz Shock are just better at producing electricity than Frankenstrike. Hell, an entire city in Ben 10 is powered by a small ball full of buzz shocks, so just one could easily keep the lights going for a while. Molestache, despite having the most unfortunate first 6 letters in his name, is great because you just have 2 extra hands. Plus he's cute, I like his design, sue me. Upchuck is just better Eatle. He can eat more, he's not big and made of metal, so space isn't an issue, and he can just eat without needing to worry about expelling the energy, so you don't have to worry about airplanes. He can also hold objects in his stomach without digesting them, so living backpack. Wildvine is amazing. He's got the plant powers of Swamp Fire, but he can also maneuver underground or through the air with his vines, so hell yeah, swing around city, plant shit, be a hero without actually stopping crying. Pesky Dust can put people to sleep. This one isn't really useful to yourself, but more to anyone you know with insomnia. Help them fall asleep better, be a good Samaritan. You also get control over what dreams they have, so please be responsible with that information. Rip Jaws. There's so much of the ocean that we don't understand or don't know about because we can't traverse it safely, but you can. You can discover things mankind never has before. You can talk to fish. You can be free. Why do I have to sell this more? Go be a fish. Gravitack is cool because gravity powers are cool and they're basically like magnet powers, but you don't need things to be metal. You can move anything with your mind, so you don't need your friend to help you move the couch and run the risk of being blasted through a wall. Water Hazard can just generate water. Enough said right there. It's free resources, people. Go fill up some big ass tanks and you don't have to pay for water. Or, better yet, go to parts of the world where families don't have clean drinking water and help them. Or, if you don't like to travel, donate the water. Something. Dude, you can save the planet without even punching anyone. And now on to A tier, which is mostly just flying aliens, because flying is a really overpowered superpower, so let's just speed through all of the flying ones first. Amphibian, Terraspin, Ultimate Big Chill, Astrodactyl, Stinkfly, and Ultimate Echo Echo can all fly to varying degrees of fast, with some of them being higher or lower based on secondary abilities or the quality of the flight. Ghost Freak and Big Chill can phase through objects while they fly. Nanomech would be great for electronic repairing due to his small size, and Jet Ray can literally go into hyperspace. For all the non-nerds out there, that means he's really fucking fast in the air. The only 2 aliens in A tier that don't fly are Brainstorm and Spider Monkey. Brainstorm is super smart and can again shoot electricity, meaning not only can you avoid paying your electric bills, you can probably come up with a clever way for the government to not catch on to you not paying them. And Spider Monkey is literally just Spider-Man more so than Bullfrag. I know I said this isn't like everyday use, but like, Come on, climb walls, swing around, super strength, save people. Don't worry about your dead uncle, you're Spider-Man now. Finally, the S-tier aliens. These few aliens literally have no downside to using them, or the downside is so minute and only applicable to combat, which again, we're not doing. We're pacifists, probably. I shouldn't speak for my audience. That could set me up for failure. At the bottom of S tier are Jury Rig and Upgrade. Both of these are just amazing. Jury Rig can combine technology and make new machines. Take your washer dryer combo, bam, it's all one machine. Take a toaster in your microwave, bam, you got a mini toaster oven. Take 4 PlayStation 1s and turn into a PlayStation 4, fuck it, why not? You can do anything. And Upgrade can kind of do that, but better. He just upgrades technology. Make a PlayStation 6, make a super toilet, make whatever you want better. The possibilities with these two are endless. Right above these two is Gray Matter, who's up here because he is the smartest alien in all of Ben 10. The Galvans, his species, can live for hundreds if not thousands of years, so you've got basically immortality for a while. And when I say they're the smartest people in the entire universe, a Galvan made the Omnitrix. Ben's future son used Gray Matter to hack his Omnitrix, which, again, the Omnitrix is one of the most complicated sci-fi tools of all time. So imagine what he could do with human intelligence problems. Taxes? No sweat. Picking the right insurance plan? Hell yeah. Coming up with a very clever comeback to an argument you're having with your roommate over how much time you're wasting on a Ben 10 video? The cherry on top. Right above Gray Matter, and the last one we look up for the top 3, bottom 3 is Forearms. It's baked right into the name. 4 arms. Your efficiency with tasks is doubled. He's incredibly strong, and unlike aliens like Rath or Molestache who have something holding them back, Forearms has, no weaknesses. Even compared to Gravitac, who can lose concentration and drop whatever he's puppeteering around, Forearms is all physical strength, baby. Finally, we have the top 3 and the bottom 3. Starting with the third best, it's actually a tie between Echo and Ditto. They're both aliens who can clone, but they work a little differently between each other. All of Echo's clones are more like a hive mind, while Ditto's clones are more like individual thinkers. Now, you may think that automatically makes Ditto a little bit better, but another difference is that Echo's clones can be independently destroyed without any harm coming to Ben, and Ditto's clones all share the pain they feel. So it really all just comes down to personal preference on which one you want to use, I guess. On the opposite end of third worst, we have Ultimate Waybig. Remember how regular Waybig was like the 5th worst alien on the list? What if you made Waybig even bigger, and his only new ability is a combat-based one where you can spin around like a top and shoot more lasers? Look, if you weren't wrecking the city before, you absolutely are now. Don't use Ultimate Waybig. Second best goes to an alien you probably all thought was going to be first, Accelerate. He is a speedster, like the Flash, meaning who gives a shit about clones or more hands? You can just move faster than light, do all your tasks in an instant, never be late for anything again. You can run and have a vacation in New York or Canada or basically anywhere because, oh yeah, he can also pull a Jesus and run on water. Accelerate is just basically the best one. He's only in second because of one detail that I'll bring up when I talk about the best alien, but for now, let's flip back over to the worst with the second worst alien, Atomics. Now you may think, gee, that energy guy really is dangerous, but mostly only when he's outside of his suit. I sure hope there isn't an alien that is more dangerous than energy, but is also constantly giving off nuclear radiation and is also just fucking made of some mysterious radioactive substance. Whoops! That's Atomics! He's one of Ben's strongest aliens power-wise, but also he just radiates green energy, and considering his name is Atomics, he has multiple attacks named shit like Nuclear Winter and Fusion Cuisine. I think it's safe to assume he's a walking, talking Chernobyl. Forget trying not to give your neighbor cancer with energy, you turn into Atomics and you're giving everyone in your city cancer. And finally, we're at our final 2. The best and the worst for everyday life. Starting with the best, we've got one that any diehard Ben 10 fan is going to scream at me for putting anywhere near the top, and that's Fast Track. He is also a speedster, and he is one of the fanbase's most hated aliens. I hate him too. He's basically just Accelerate again, but not as cool. He's around the same speed as Accelerate, but it's implied that Accelerate is faster in general. But why is he better than Accelerate? One reason, and one reason only. Hands. Accelerate, if you haven't noticed, has claws, and even though he can do basic tasks like pushing buttons or cutting things, I refuse to believe he can hold a pencil or operate a can opener. Accelerate is going to be amazing for transporting basic tasks, but the second you need to cook a meal or write a letter or anything with any level of dexterity, you're gonna bust out Fast Track. Let it be known though, this is the only time I will ever, and I mean ever, you can hold me to this. Rank Fast Track above Accelerate, or even put Fast Track within the top half of any list ranking these guys positively. Get this guy out of here. Go on, take your medal. And the worst Ben 10 alien for the average person, to what I can imagine is almost no surprise, is Alien X. Alien X is a space god that requires you to debate with 2 other higher plane beings on literally any actions to take as him. Ben is an experienced hero and negotiator when he got Alien X, and it still took him like an hour to convince them to just let him turn back to human. In one of the video games, Albedo, who is known for being able to trick anyone to do anything and is one of the smartest characters in all of Ben 10, couldn't convince them to turn him back to normal for an entire year. There's no way in hell even the smartest of you watching could negotiate these two into doing anything helpful as Alien X. At best, you're going to be stuck as him from anywhere to an hour to a year based on how well you can convince them to let you go, and at worst, they're going to convince you to do something stupid and catastrophic like bringing the dinosaurs back. Alien X can literally do anything, including being the worst thing to transform into when your car breaks down. And there you have it. All 69 aliens. I didn't mean for it to turn out this way. Please laugh. Shit, I forgot about Spitter. Who cares about Spitters? 69. Also, you may have noticed that despite it being a week till Halloween, this wasn't a really spooky video, besides the scary thoughts of radiation poisoning and putting Fast Track in first. But, to tell you the truth, I tricked you! You fell for my ruse! This wasn't my big Halloween video, because if you're watching this live when it drops, the real Halloween video should be dropping now! Or within a 15-minute time frame of this video ending. I don't know, I'm recording this before I figure out the timings and when I'm scheduling this, but tonight, you get a double feature. And since this video was sci-fi adjacent, the second one is horror adjacent. What is it gonna be? Go watch it and find out. And if you're not watching this live, you can just go to the description. I'll update it with the link to the second video. Or you could you could watch my other stuff. Yeah, I didn't plan on what to make the ending if you weren't watching this live. That was my big triumphant, ha! I fooled you moment, and kind of deflated myself. But that means you should feel bad for not watching this live, and so you should subscribe to me so you can watch the next video when it comes out, so you can have this rare once-in-a-lifetime opportunity happen again. Yes! Turn it back around. Fuck. Hell yeah, I'm so cool. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll fool you. Again. Probably not. Bye.